the desert of the real.
Welcome to the Desert of the Real. I'm your host, Jason Dietz. Joined with me is your alien from another galaxy.
I thought your last name was Thor now. Remember? You're Jason Thor.
That's true.
Oh, I'm Ryan Hudson.
The apologist. So, The Desert of the Real, Jason's Choice, is a movie podcast where I force my co-host, Ryan Hudson, to watch movies that I think have exceptional quality in terms of philosophy or creativity, or, invite us to think deeply about ethics. And our movie for this week was a movie called K-PAX. We're two English language arts high school teachers with graduate degrees, and we attempt to use our academic training to dig deeply into movies. We explore the creativity, the philosophy, film studies, and ethics in our films, and push our listeners to think critically about their entertainment. Thank you once again for tuning in and listening and participating with us as we explore movies.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for making us a part of your day. Also, if you're listening to this episode, you've either seen K-PAX or you're just a diehard fan.
Yeah.
Because this movie's not on streaming.
It isn't?
You have to buy it or rent it.
Oh, well. Sorry.
But
so that means there's going to be two people listening to it.
This movie's kind of got an interesting legacy, though, because did you ever see its, like Rotten Tomato scores or whatever?
Yeah, people don't like it very much.
Yeah, but I also feel like there's maybe... Because I'm basing this off maybe one Reddit post, but people kind of really like it, though.
Oh, really? Because the tomato score is really low.
People who have seen it like it, type of thing.
And they have a 46 or something?
Yeah, but that's the... what's the audience score, do you know?
I don't know.
I'll look it up.
I don't really
say something.
Care what critics have to say about movies, but... I did also find out as I was prepping that the producers of this movie got sued for copyright infringement.
Yeah, I did learn that.
Which is really interesting.
There's an old Argentinian movie. It's called The Man Who Faces Southeast or something. But apparently that movie's really good. It's got like 10 comments on YouTube. I watched the trailer for it. And one comment was like, this is one of my all-time favorite movies. Yeah. But the guy, to his deathbed...
Yeah. Insists is his.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, there is that. So, yeah. So, kind of what we're going to be doing with this episode is we'll go through, some quick pros and cons, whatever. Mm-hmm. Then I'd like to turn the time over to you to kind of film studies. And then I'd like us to just kind of have a conversation. We're going to leave, the big names in philosophy behind.
Oh, I thought you meant the big names of this movie, because there's at least...
Yeah, there's a ton.
well I was thinking the one of the main characters is not, he's fallen into trouble, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
But no, I thought we would kind of leave the big names of philosophy behind and just kind of play, you and I, with the kind of the main philosophical themes of this movie.
Do you mean what's the nature of reality?
What is the nature of reality is one of those.
But that's a good one, because I even wrote that down in my notes. Yeah. And cause that's one of the big ideas of this movie.
Yeah. So, as far as pros, what do we got?
Okay, before I get into
pros.
According to Rotten Tomatoes, it's 42% critics score, but it's got 75% audience score. So it is more.
That's still not phenomenal, though.
Yeah. But still, it's...
Which is, it isn't, there are no explosions, and the end of this movie doesn't solidify anything. It doesn't answer the question. And I think maybe that's a drawback.
On Rotten Tomatoes, the top critic review that says, "For those who have seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest or Starman, K-PAX may not hold anything new. But now, this is now 25 years later.
Right.
Maybe the audiences who would watch this aren't watching, or maybe they haven't seen Starman. I haven't seen Starman.
Yeah, but I have, and I've seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest also, and I don't think, maybe Starman, but One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest has the only similarity is that it takes place in like a mental hospital.
Yeah. Yeah, so I wonder if at the time of 2001, the critics who saw it are like, there's just a different lens now, basically.
Yeah.
Of
maybe
what they were pining for.
Yeah. Anyway. Starman, maybe, though. Do you have any pros, things that you appreciated? Or maybe let's start with cons, because I don't actually have any
You
cons.
don't have, this is one of your favorite movies, you have 5 stars?
Yeah. Okay. I love this movie.
Okay, I like this movie a lot. I remember, let me go back to the Wayback Machine. Before Netflix had streaming, it was like the DVD thing. There was, and I was in school, like high school or whatever, there was like a girl who let us use her Netflix. Like we would order DVDs.
Oh, wow.
We put like 20 or so movies on the order list or whatever. But then I remember one of my friends was like, she told me about K-PAX. And I remember looking at the trailer and they see Kevin Spacey eating a banana and stuff.
Yep. The whole thing, not just...
But like from that time till now, I had never seen it. But I was like, oh, what's that movie? The guy eats a banana. Maybe he's an alien. That's like all I knew about it. Also, just a top of the note, he goes for the Red Delicious apple. That's grosser than eating the whole banana. Red Delicious.
I actually agree.
Are gross apples.
They're so much better apples.
Okay. My cons aren't like crazy big because I do like it overall. However, I guess it kind of dips into maybe the melodramatic era of like for example, Jeff Bridges is a doctor. He's worked with a lot of people. He was aware of the story of as he's diving into trying to find out who what's his character's name? Prote. He's
P-R-O-T.
He's diving into Prote's background of who he is. And he's at the house where Prote grew up. And I guess should we say spoilers? I suppose.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna. For record, we're going to dive into some spoilers. Because most of the movie, in fact, almost all the movie is dealing with who is this guy? Is this real?
Yeah.
Anyway, Jeff Bridges is trying to figure that out too. We are too as an audience. And it's not till the end where you're left to kind of...
We still don't know.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that later. However, but like Jeff Bridges, he's seeing this house, he's seeing all these things, and he's like so emotional. And I'm like... You're a doctor. Like, you understand.
That's true.
All of you've heard all of these stories, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know why this one's making you so emotional.
Oh, but
it works as a movie.
But in fairness, this is a patient he's deeply engaged with. Like, it's a mystery. Maybe some of his other patients. And then you just have the magnetism of Prote. Like, he's pulls people in.
And that's maybe I was like, all right, I see what's going on here, movie. Yeah. But once again, that's not like a problem.
Right.
It's easy to point, Paddington. That's what Paddington does. He pulls people in and changes them for the better. It's the same type of idea. So it's not a problem, but I was also kind of like...
you overplayed it a little bit.
I think maybe a little bit. And I also, the other main thing that I was like, okay, is the hypnotist thing. Because I think once is good and interesting, maybe even twice, but 3 times, I'm also kind of like, all right, can we get out of the office here? Can we do something different now type of thing?
Yeah. So if there was a drawback for me, it's the kind of the lack of scenery.
Yeah, it kind of felt... And it's not that, talking in movies equals bad. It just kind of felt like maybe I don't know, in this example too much.
Well, if we look at One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, that literally takes place in one room.
Yeah.
Basically, but they use the room. There's a purpose for being in there, and it's a part of the... And here, that's fair.
I guess what I would describe it as, watching a stage play, the stage almost rarely changes for the most part. And this essentially felt like watching a stage play. as opposed to like feeling something beyond the fourth wall.
Yeah. There's not much eye candy here for the cinephile. It's more of a...
It didn't feel like they even knew how to break out of the confines of a stage, I suppose.
Yeah, that's fair.
But there are interesting things happening. Those are my biggest problems, probably.
Yeah, those are both fair.
But there are things happening for the cinephile. Like there's the light motif, like the reflected light. There's also shimmering light. I noticed a lot of shimmering stuff. Even in one of the hypnotist scenes, it's like, what is this wall that's behind them?
Yeah.
It's just like moving consistently. But a lot of the light that you see is doing that too.
Yeah.
So the key, there's 2 steps to film analysis: seeing the thing and then asking why.
Yeah. And
I think there's definite purposes for like I guess it's all K-PAX, not K-PAX, that's not his name. It's Prote. Prote is literally like bringing David Daniels into his life type of thing, his point of view. He needs the sunglasses, and then all of a sudden Jeff Daniels keeps getting this light in his eye. It's also like reflecting on the thing on his desk, which I guess, is that to remind him of his son or his what do you think that was for?
The light?
Like, specifically from, like, the paperweight on his desk. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Maybe.
I think that was, like, the main source of the rainbow reflection getting in his eye.
Yeah. Yeah, so light. So what is the purpose? Yeah. So this episode's not going to be the regimented this, then this, then this.
Yeah. So
in terms of light, like, what is the purpose of it? Because it's, like you said, it's all over in this. Mm-hmm. Like there's the part where he's meeting with the astrophysicist.
Yeah.
And like he knows a lot about where supposedly K-PAX is.
Yeah.
That's all about light. Like all of everything that he's saying and this is here and whatever, all of those are sources of light. And like at the very, very end when he either, goes back to K-PAX or whatever happens, it's blinding light. And everywhere that Prote is light. Mm-hmm. He kind of radiates it or emanates it. And that's part of what attracts like literally everybody in the mental institution or whatever they're called now, to him is this light. They don't have it, he has it. So what do we think about light? Sorry. Every time I do this, I put you on the spot. Okay,
so
I just realized.
I think here's at least one possibility. Because it's a lot of the light comes through glass. Like I was saying, the shimmering light, the light reflecting off his paperweight thingy, getting in his eyes and stuff. I think, because there's a shot early on that implies Jeff Bridges, I don't know his name, I'll say Jeff Bridges, that Jeff Bridges is unable to face reality because he's at the barbecue with his family and his kids and stuff, and he's looking at his kids through like the wine glass or something. Yeah. And I think that's kind of a deliberate choice to say, even though he's a doctor who's helping people, he can't face his life directly, head on. Yep. Because then we find out later about his son and stuff. He's kind of shut out and things. But then he's always surrounded by these lights. And the reflecting of lights. I think he's kind of trapped in a prison, I suppose. Yeah. Maybe how I would think of it the most.
Yeah. A lightless office. It's out there. It's not in here.
Yeah, and Pro can only see things when it's darker, basically.
Right.
Because I think another key visual thing besides the light, there's a lot of close-ups to stuff. Mm-hmm. Like the sprinkler. Yeah. There's also a fun shot, I call it the fruit bowl cam, where we just follow the fruit bowl for a seemingly a long time for some reason. Yeah. But anyway, like specific moments are just hyper zoomed in and things. I think Prote is seeing the world. He's observing things to report back to his planet, allegedly. But he's also making people see the world. I think, like Jeff Bridges, the light in his eyes, I think at the end of the movie, he is finally able to look at things. Yeah. I think maybe that's how I interpret some of those the themes and motifs in this movie.
Yeah, that's a good read, I think.
Thanks, Dr. Dietz.
So you pointed out that Prout himself can't see the light. Like, he almost the entire movie is wearing these very dark sunglasses. And once we learn what happened to, what is his, Porter is his last name. So Prout physical body belongs to, he used to be an animal slaughterer. One day he came back to his wife and his very young child to find both of them dead. And then what the open question, even at the end of the movie, is, okay, so did some alien force come take over Porter's body to protect him? Did his personality split?
Yeah.
Whatever. We don't know.
Yeah.
But we have now the light that he emanates is not in him. So, like, he can't deal with light. He can't have light illuminating who he truly is or what his true experience was or whatever. And so he's protecting himself from the light, even though he's reflecting it or projecting it for other people. So one of the things I think is really interesting about that is the difference that almost always shows up between what we think of ourselves and what other people think or interact with. Because frequently, I mean, as a high school English teacher, or us, probably both of us, we rarely come across people that think they're awesome or recognize their own awesomeness or their own greatness or their own, power to shape the lives of others or whatever. People just, we're in a, I don't know why, but we seem to be in a moment in, our evolution where we always think poorly of ourselves.
Yeah.
And so one of the many reasons I love this movie is because Prout is amazing in what he does in the lives of literally everyone he comes in contact with. But he himself, by the end of the movie, has just completely sealed himself off, and he's in a catatonic state. He can't deal with his past or his guilt or whatever it is. And I think we can learn about ourselves from that, and we need to start recognizing, not in I'm the greatest ever, but we need to recognize the power that we have in the lives of the people that we love and the people around us. And I think once we do that, we become better able to, influence people and lift people and strengthen people. So let the light be in us and out of us.
I think it's supernatural because we are our own worst critic. You know?
For sure.
There was that one Dove commercial, forever ago, where they had people tell a police sketch artist to draw themselves. And then they had other people in those guys, in their life, to also, now draw them.
Yeah.
And the people who describe themselves ugly or with harsher features. But the other people to describe the same people didn't see those things.
Right.
And so I wonder, so I don't know, you made me think now. Because it is important to have a good self-image. It's important to love yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And there is a line that crosses over. My brother-in-law, he's watching the Jake Paul documentary. You don't even know who Jake Paul is.
No
what
idea.
A lucky man you are. Anyway, but it's this Jake Paul's a villain, a real life villain who thinks he's the best person to ever live, and he's also crazy rich on all these things. He's a YouTuber. Super annoying, one of those 20-year-old millionaires that... Anyway, but he has got a show now my brother was telling me about. But Jake Paul is the extreme example of loving yourself too much, you know?
Yeah.
And but I think it's more natural just to see the negative.
Right.
But what is the difference? Because you said, not seeing yourself clearly, but what's the key that changes it to being the thing you were just talking about? Because you said
I have a religious answer, but...
That's fair.
I don't know. I think maybe it's other people giving us feedback. So one of the things that's really interesting about being a high school teacher is we get basically no positive feedback, right? Yeah. From our students or admin or whatever. We're just kind of here doing our job. If we ever mess up, boy, howdy, we hear about it and we know about it, and the kids are throwing a fit, and we're getting called down to the office or whatever. What if we flip that? In not just for high school teachers, but for everyone. And our default was not, oh, you screwed up or you sucked at this or whatever. Yeah. Our default is, I really appreciate, what you're doing. I appreciate your friendship. Whatever. I think that just because, if you think about it, and all of the feedback we ever get is negative, how can we possibly think anything else about ourselves? Yeah. It's super hard. It takes a very strong personality to think anything else.
I wonder where we lose it, because, I have young kids, but, almost all we say is, all these positive things. Yeah. How beautiful they are and, how smart or talented they are all the time. But somewhere we lose that. I don't know. Is that just one of the things we always have to get better at? Our own self-image. Yeah. Because then you watch all these superhero movies, all these people with an 8-pack in the perfect. So that's I don't know if that's part of it probably. But that's what Prot does. Yes. All these people in the hospital, he is finding the thing that they need to get better.
He's helping them see themselves through a positive light. Yeah. Rather than the darkness inside them or inside their minds. Yeah. So we just as a people, have to get better at... Because you know what? Here's what I think happens. I think we start getting threatened or intimidated by the people around us. I don't know, in a work setting or a school setting where we're all hyper competitive. We can't compliment people, because if they start feeling better about themselves, they're going to beat us or be better than us or whatever. So we got to deal with that somehow. We have to stop being competitive. It's not you versus everyone else. It's just you now versus you yesterday. Yeah. And just recognize that if we're going to bed better than we woke up, that's a win. It doesn't matter if somebody else goes to bed way better than they woke up. It's just us versus our past selves. Yeah. We're just improving day by day, getting better.
But I worry now. I'm worried about the upcoming generation with social media. Yeah. Because now it's not to wait till school. It's now wait till school plus all of the crazy, all the people you see on your phone or whatever. Yeah. Like Jake Paul. I feel like they did so much damage. Or people like Jake Paul. Even to this day, kids in elementary school seeing these 20-something-year-olds buying Lamborghinis or whatnot. It's now ludicrous goals that they see now. I don't know.
And ludicrous bodies and ludicrous vacations and ludicrous lives, really. Yeah. We haven't had a social media bash for quite a while. I just realized that.
When's the last time you talked about social media? It didn't come up in Star Wars at all.
You're absolutely right. I also have a lot of fear for the rising generation in that respect. Yeah. As we've already discussed multiple times on this podcast.
Because this is 2001. This is a period piece now. Yeah. Actually, what's so funny is in my film class we watched Chronicle, the found footage movie. These teenagers get superpowers, and it takes place in 2012, the year I graduated. And I'm like, this is a period piece. No one has smartphones. Yeah. They have to explain what a blog is. Yeah. They need a flashlight, so they have to go get the guy with the camera for a light at one point. It's just so far removed from. And now this is 2001. They're like, look up every single place. Let's put these little red flags in and stuff. How easy a Google search.
Maps.
Yeah, no Google Maps at all. That would have helped out a lot in this movie.
Yeah, it would have.
Anyway, that's fun.
So, we've got that battle. The light that we emanate doesn't match the light within us, or the light that we feel is within us.
I actually just remembered something on that note. Also kind of not about lights, but the reflection thing. Yeah. The first time we see Prot, or when Jeff Bridges meets him, his reflection in the mirror or the glass, they overlap each other. Yeah. So it's sort of maybe implying like he's gonna like infect, like I don't know how do I say this?
Yes.
It's implying
his mentality is gonna influence or
like he's in his mind or he's going to morph into one person, that type of thing.
Yeah.
That's all deliberate.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I love this movie. There's so much visually. Yeah. Anyhow, sorry, I hijacked your cons or pros or something.
I'm done with the...
Oh, okay.
Okay, 2 things. First, this movie is a real, like, where do I know this actor from? Almost every single side character is in a TV show you've seen or a movie you've seen. How do I know this person? I don't know. Howie, he's in Twin Peaks.
Your favorite.
I know, and I'm watching Twin Peaks season 3. Blah, blah, blah. Like, almost everyone is in a TV show. What's her face? The one nurse, she was in 2.5 Men. There's Aaron Paul, who's like, it was like, Aaron Paul's in this? It's like a big twist ending, kind of. Because he was no one in 2001, but now it's like, it's Aaron Paul. Then, like, the one other doctor guy, he was the boss in Chuck. Or whatever. It goes on. Like, all of these guys, I guess they're character actors. These actors who just know how to come in, I'll be like the guy who does this and get out type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then it's just full of them.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
It is cool.
Okay, so this movie, famously, actually, all it is, for the most part, a lot of it, what it is Prot an alien or is he not an alien? And I asked the internet on Reddit and our Twitter, but no one responded. I asked, what is this genre called? Like, it's a type of mystery, but it's not like really a mystery, but it is. So that's why I'm like, what is the name for this? The movie gives you, here are 2 options here. And now for the rest of the movie, it's like, well, this, maybe it's that. Maybe it's this, maybe it's that. So I came with a list of movies similar. And you know what? Maybe we can make up a name for this subgenre.
Because there isn't a name?
I don't know what it would be, and no one answered my question.
Either or.
All right, that's pretty good. But
that's not
No, that's too good right away. That's what I'm trying to say. Let me read you some different movies, and then we can... So, for example, there's a movie... I haven't seen all of these, for the record. But these are ideas from...
I probably haven't either.
There's a movie called Safety Not Guaranteed, which is about, there was like a news article saying, I time traveled, need to do it again, need your help. So the movie is like, once again, did this guy really time travel? Or is it, what am I like, 10 Cloverfield Lane.
I love that movie.
Where it's like, is there a...
Right.
What is it?
Is the world gone?
Did the world end? Or is... the guy going, is he gone crazy type of thing.
Right.
There's a movie, or actually Total Recall could also work too. Why'd you roll your eyes at Total Recall?
Hate Total Recall.
Why do you hate Total Recall?
Guess.
Because of Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No.
Because
there's so many logical flaws in it that it's just completely asinine.
I don't think you should go into Total Recall looking for logical flaws.
Total Recall.
Okay.
They go out to Mars. Like, they get kicked out of the safety, whatever.
Yeah.
Their faces are getting all like...
Yeah. It's not that too.
Yeah. And then they come back in, and they just look like they did before. No. That is not what's going to happen.
Okay, we don't have nearly enough time to unpack that. Also, I'm not as familiar as I probably should be to argue that.
I'm not either. I just remember that, and I'm like, no, I'm done.
But here's the thing about Total Recall. If you've never seen it, and there's a remake I've also never seen, but it's like...
Why don't they remake it?
I don't know.
Maybe they made it to fix it. Anyhow,
maybe,
sorry.
But it's like, here's this VR headset. You're going to be a secret spy going on a mission to Mars and save the day. So he puts it on. All right, whatever. That's fun. Then he goes to bed. And then everything seems to happen just like the VR, like the thing said was going to happen. So it's like, wait, is this the simulation? Or is it actually just happening to him? Which is kind of fun. There's a movie very recently called Anatomy of the Fall, or Anatomy of a Fall, where a husband is found dead at the bottom of like a window. And the movie it's like, well, did the wife push him or was it an accident?
Oh,
so it's
cool.
like an either or type of thing. Pan's Labyrinth is a cool example where it's like, are these fantasy things happening or is it the little girl's imagination? Oh man.
Magnificent movie.
A 5-star movie, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
You're not the same person at the end of that movie.
I agree.
A couple other ones. A great one that someone suggested, Miracle on 34th Street.
Oh, yeah.
Is this Santa Claus or not?
Yeah.
See, that's what I mean. It's not like a mystery film like Agatha Christie. It's, well, here's 2 options.
You decide.
And a lot of these, the movie doesn't even tell you.
Right.
It's like you are up to interpret. Yeah. A couple more. Flight Plan, which is
love Flight Plan.
A little different because there is a definite answer, but the movie plays with that idea.
I love that movie.
Let's see. There's
Jodie Foster!
Familiar with?
She's so dang good. Oh my goodness. I'm just sorry.
There's a recent one called Never Let Go, where I think it's Halle Berry. And she's got 2 kids, and they're like, there are monsters and stuff out here. If we go out, you have to be tied to ropes and stuff. But then it's like, from the trailer, a kid gets off on his own, and then it's like, wait, were you okay? Like, so it starts questioning, is the mom kind of created this world for her kids? Have not seen it, but that's, it's all of these premises are, the same. I can go on. I probably overstayed this, but I mean, the either or mystery genre is a good name, I feel like.
I don't know.
They're fun, though.
I love if that's a genre, that's one of my favorite genres.
Well, it is, because we can see the pattern.
Yeah, I absolutely love movies that we get done with it, and it's up to us. It's up to me to decide what actually happened. I love those movies.
Because this movie, to get into the ending, you can still... I do feel like it's pointing to the alien thing more than the other.
Maybe.
But you could make an argument for either one. That's why it's probably the either or mystery is probably a good name for it.
Okay, sorry.
No, I don't. I wanted to come up with a name together. That's
sorry.
What? What are you sorry for?
Because I had just said it.
That's fine.
What options do you have?
I don't know.
Okay.
I came with all the examples.
Do you have one? Anyway. We got... I mean, The Village is kind of like that. M. Night Shyamalan.
So, someone suggested... I don't know if this is a...
The Others. Oh, you should watch... Maybe
I need to see The Others.
I will have that on
I do know the ending, though. Because,
oh, that sucks. Who did that for you?
Like,
that is...
Well,
I can't believe somebody ruined The Others for you.
Yeah.
That's one of the greatest moments I remember in film when I realized, oh my gosh, that's what's going on, and then it does it again. Oh man, it was so beautiful.
It is what it is.
I love that movie.
But I guess while I'm here in my film studies,
I keep interrupting.
Arguably, there's about 13 main genres.
Okay.
But then there's a bunch of subgenres. Every genre could be split into a bunch of things.
Sure.
And then there are hundreds of micro genres where you can go as niche as humanly possible. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So one of those subgenres under the mystery is the either or.
That we just made.
Yeah.
Cool. Or you heard it here first.
But obviously, you know what?
What?
I have one more thing because I don't know if you're going to bring this up. There is because like the reality stuff we're getting into, the idea of belief I think we're getting into. Yeah. But also, this movie has a lot to say about mental health.
Yeah.
You've heard the thing, if we treated mental health like physical health, like a broken arm, you can see we'd all treat them differently.
Yeah.
Like
people with mental health issues.
Right, exactly. And that's, you've mentioned it, but Prote's special thing is he can see past that.
Yeah.
And I think it's because he's an alien. He doesn't see things with our human lenses, I suppose.
You're pretty firmly in the he's an alien.
I think it's kind of unquestionable.
Oh, really?
Being honest.
Wow.
Mostly because of like this, I don't know. I think it's kind of unquestionable in the end.
Okay,
to me.
Interesting.
But like the bluebird thing.
Yeah.
The getting the one woman to come out of her room and like.
You don't think like a Patch Adams kind of guy could have done that? All of that?
Patch Adams, I could have done that. But once again, Patch Adams has a different lens. He doesn't come from the doctor lens. Like he's seeing things what was Patch Adams' job before he got into? Well, I can't remember because it's been a while since I've seen
me too.
But Patch Adams didn't start out as a doctor. He stuck into he pretended to be a doctor and then got in there. But Prote's the same thing. He doesn't come through with a background of how people are supposed to see each other in a way. So I think he sees them as like their true beings.
Yeah. Which is pretty. I love it.
Yeah.
Cool.
And like even the guy, the very end, the guy from Twin Peaks. It's your mission is to be here, and was it help others or the person he took, or allegedly, was the only one who didn't have anyone else.
Right.
And I think that's
everyone
else had something to offer the world still. Yeah, that's lovely.
It is lovely. I love this movie. It brings me happiness and joy. Cool. Very nice.
Thanks, Dr. Dietz.
You're welcome, Master Hudson. So, philosophically, got a couple of things that I want us to play with. So, one of the things is the idea that everything happens for a reason. So, what do we think about that? Do we believe that, and this is a continuum in philosophy, like most things are in philosophy, between, everything is hardwired, it's fate, what happens was supposed to happen, there was never any changing it, to the other extreme, it's just random chaos and we can do whatever we want. But the idea, so specifically for Prout, that was his view of people, is that everyone has a purpose. Everything happens. I'm here in this place to touch your life and and whatever. So this movie suggests that yes. But what do we think? Does everything happen for a reason?
Okay.
So you're a high school English teacher.
Yeah.
Did that happen for a reason?
Yeah. I guess so, but...
Well, you don't have to. You can say no. It's just random.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Here's where I kind of stand personally on this, I suppose. Because, it's easy to look at the steps that lead to something. Oh, look how everything, in hindsight, worked in this way,
Yeah.
For example, me being a teacher here, I went to college, went student teaching at a specific place, at a specific place, we were, out of money. We moved into my parents' basement, because we had nothing.
Yeah.
And I applied here since I was here type of thing.
Yeah.
And then I got hired, and now I'm still here. Out of my parents' basement. I'm going to just add that. That's maybe an important note.
I lived in my parents' basement too after we got married, so.
But
no thing.
I can look at it that two ways of maybe fate driving every single thing. I'm here because of the steps that need to be there. Or it's no, that's just how life is. It just goes that way.
So then it's a matter of what do we think about it, not does it or doesn't it?
Yeah, here's the thing. I've taught Macbeth a few times. And Macbeth's, one of his major flaws is he's attempting to control his fate.
Yeah.
Because he goes back to the witches. He didn't have to.
Right.
He's I need to know more. Tell me more about my future. What would have happened if he didn't do that? What would have happened if he didn't do X, Y, or Z type of thing?
Yeah.
But he's I need to know. I need to be in control of my fate. I'm king. How do I stay king forever? And because he kept making those choices, it led to his end faster,
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't think I believe in fate, though.
Yeah. Me either. I don't. So I personally definitely believe everything happens for a reason on a big picture scale. Maybe not. I'm currently drinking a Diet Mountain Dew, and that happened for a reason. But
you don't know that,
right? But I don't think that. Specifically, I feel I absolutely love this movie.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we are in the lives of the people that we're in for a reason. We're there to do something for them, to build them, teach them, help them, whatever. And so, I think, I guess everyone listening is aware that, both of us believe in a higher power. I think a higher power is moving us, not controlling us, but putting us in places where if we choose, we can have massive positive impact on people. And so I'm kind of in the middle of those two extremes where, yes, I believe that a higher power is moving us, but what I choose to do with that movement is up to me.
We've talked a lot about you can't change the world, but you can change your sphere.
Yeah.
So with that idea, it's like you are here right now to change your sphere or
make it better. Yeah.
Well, all the 100 students you teach every single day.
Yeah. Or whatever.
Or whatever you do.
You do, listeners.
Whatever it is that you do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if we ever figure out the light that we're projecting is also inside of us, and we ever realize the enormous power for good every individual can have, and if we ever start doing that, the entire world changes. Everything is different.
Yeah, I also... oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
That's why, like, if you have that mindset, like, it's so... like, it's easy to go, like, oh, something makes you mad or something makes you frustrated. It's easy to, like, respond in anger, you know?
Yeah.
But if we have that mindset, it's like, how do I go about this different? How do I address this issue or this person with the light instead of jump to something negative, I suppose.
Yeah. If we go one step further than that, and we're like, one of the things that makes Prote so interesting as a character is he can see past the exterior into the person. So people that are harming him or angry or whatever, that doesn't even register really for him, and he can see, oh, you're hurting for this reason, or you need this.
Yeah, even the dog.
Right, everything.
See, he's an alien.
And so, okay, so if he's an alien, great. But I think this movie challenges us to consider, can we do that? Can we, someone, eggs our house or whatever, can we get past the egging and say, oh, I see the good in you. I see the pain. Mm-hmm. What can I do to help? How can I help? Maybe I can't. But I feel like in everyone's sphere of influence, there are definitely people that if we can see past the anger or the frustration or the vitriol or whatever the heck it is, there are things that we can do to lift each other and touch each other and help each other. And if we ever do that, like I said, the whole planet changes. Yeah. Everything changes. So I guess the question is, do we have the responsibility to do that or the obligation to do that? Or is that just, it would be nice, but I'm going to keep getting mine. I'm going to keep,
Yeah, I think, we do, Deets.
We
have the responsibility to be a decent
Name one.
Being. Like putting your shopping cart away.
That's your go-to.
Well, that's like a kind of a famous, it's like a morality test. No one's forcing anyone to do that.
That's true.
But we do it because most people are decent people, Yeah. Let me just put this away because I'm here and I can do it, Yeah. Except for some people, come on.
Yeah. You know who you are.
You know who you are.
But so I'm even though you don't think so, I'm very introverted.
You are not. It drives me nuts.
The challenge for me has always been, but for me as an introvert, the challenge has always been, how do I do that? Like rando stranger in front of me in the line at Walmart's obviously having a bad day. What am I do I have? And so my ultimate answer to that was the sphere concept. Yeah. So yes, my life is briefly touching this guy's life in Walmart. And if I were extroverted, maybe there was something I could do. But I'm not beating myself up because I didn't know the right thing to say to help that guy. But in my sphere, I've got my family, I've got my few friends, I've got my students. I can do something there. I can shape.
Here's some of my thoughts from a real introvert, not these fake ones like you.
You have so many people you talk to.
I know. I literally have to. Oh my gosh!
I have you. You're the only person in this building I talk to.
It's actually probably really bad how antisocial I am. However, teaching, I don't know how this podcast, we have a limited like experience to some degree because we're teachers. But I'm like, there's so many different types of teachers. You know, it takes all kinds.
Yeah.
You can't just, there's not just one type of person either. Blah blah blah. But you know, sometimes it's like, look at these teachers over here, so extroverted, so easy to talk to all their students, and blah blah blah. Like you, among others. But like,
not like me.
It's easy to compare. It's like, if only I was like so-and-so, this part of the job.
See, that's easy. That's the dark.
It's because I figured it out, Deets. It's so easy because I know my flaws very apparently, you know?
Yeah, we
all
all do.
Very, very night and day to me. So I'm like, if only...
That's the dark. That's what I'm talking about.
That's how it is, though. It's like...
But we can change it. Look at Pro. He had his whole family slaughtered.
But he's an alien, so
okay. I don't think he... Okay, I'm on the other side. I don't think he's an alien.
You gotta explain a few things then.
Yeah, I know. I don't think he's an alien.
All right, keep going.
Oh, yeah. Is that it? Are we good?
Oh, yeah.
So everything happens for a reason. We're both kind of close-ish, but not entirely close-ish. So one of the things that is really interesting about Pro is so in some of the research I did, they call it what people that make you feel like you're walking on air. And he's one of those people. And so my question here is, like, do we how do I ask it? You're just staring at me.
I'm listening.
I know.
And also kind of planning my lesson tomorrow.
Well, good. We should be done. So do we? How many of those kind of people do we need in the world? The people that just walk, like in our case, her down the hall. She just walks around, and everyone around her, everyone that she just lifts them. Do we have to be those people, or is that a sphere? And we can be content doing the things in our sphere to the best of our ability. Okay. Or should we all be aiming at being the people that make other people feel like they're walking on air? Done. Go.
I know. I was cutting you off. I apologize, Dr.
I was
Beats.
probably repeating myself.
You reminded me of something I've heard before. Yeah. Are you aware of the parable of the ant and the grasshopper?
I am.
Can you briefly
Master Hudson
explain to the audience the ant and the grasshopper?
Why, yes, I can. The ant is working really hard because he knows that winter is coming and the grasshopper's just partying all the time. Just partying. And he's like making fun of the ant, and the ant is like, no, the winter is coming, you will die. And the grasshopper's like, it is not, I have plenty of time. The winter comes, the grasshopper dies, the ant is chilling.
Yeah, okay. That's so funny. That was the best. I love that. Okay.
Well, you were like that.
I know, but it was so funny when you eat it. Okay, when the ant worked hard. Yeah, like, no, I'm not giving you food. I worked, you didn't. Now you're literally dead. Work hard is the moral. I heard that said once, that's not reality. In reality, we need the grasshoppers. It's like, what the ant, a busy mom of 1,000, you know? It's like, quick, get in here. It's the middle of winter. I need you to distract my kids while I make dinner or whatever. Okay. Like, it's the point being, kind of what I was trying to say, like, we're not cookie cutters, you know, it's not one type of person. Sure. We need those people. We need also the opposite of those people. We need people who keep us humble, let's just say. How about that? That's what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
Like all of our students, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every single one.
Not all of them.
However,
I got called on the carpet today by one of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was interesting.
My point being, we can't all be the grasshoppers or the people who live. We literally can't.
No, you're right. So we can't look at the people that make us feel like we're walking on air and be like, oh man, I suck because I don't make people feel like they're walking on air. I suck because I'm not. No, we can't do that because that's not us. That's not who we are. That's not our talent set. That's not our sphere. We have got to, as a species, figure out that we are perfect in our sphere. We are exactly who we need to be in order to do what we need to do, and we gotta stop tearing ourselves down. We gotta stop comparing ourselves to other people, because we're not other people, like you just said. We're not those. We don't. Who cares? It's just, how can you be the best you right here where you are? The end.
Yeah, I do think though, we should work to be lifting others up. I
believe that is the best you for everyone.
Yeah,
is lifting the people around you with your specific set of skills. That's what we're here for, I think. Now we're going to move out into the less practical things that this movie asks us to deal with. So, reality, you mentioned already. What is the nature of reality? So, is it possible that Prot is both an alien and a wounded person, and the bluebird of happiness, the lifting, walking on air kind of? Can he be all of those?
Yeah.
Simultaneously in a reality.
Yeah, he is.
So he is an alien, he's not an alien, and he's the bluebird of happiness.
Yeah, okay, because what I was thinking with the reality thing is, it literally doesn't matter what Jeff Bridges' character does. Kevin Spacey's character is Prot. Even if he's not an alien, his reality, that is still his reality, you know? So looking at it kind of like cheating the thing, it's because he thinks he is. He is. But Jeff, the science mind of it, no, that's impossible. That's science fiction. Blah blah blah. Right. You are a person, and the movie. I think that's why it ultimately is really well done, because it has both things, and also literally an alien. You know, that's also the other option.
Yeah.
But his reality is how he sees the world. That's true.
For him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that okay?
I think ultimately, because all we have is our limited perspective of us. You know, right. We are trapped in the confines of reality being who we are right now.
Right.
So my reality is every single thing I have done up to this point.
Yeah. So then if we take Jeff Bridges' character, are people authorized to invade our reality, to say that our reality isn't reality, that we need to fix something about it? We're on a continuum here. Where is the point at which we need to change other people's reality or our own reality? When does that happen?
I see.
So, we can use the English department here as an example.
Yeah.
We've been through a lot of, crap, a lot of rough stuff. I feel like the reality that our English department was 3 years ago or 4 years ago is a very different reality than it is now. What happened? Who was responsible for that? Is it okay that somebody got in and said, you know what, this reality sucks. We're not doing this anymore. We're going to change it and manipulate this and change this and introduce this so that we have a different reality. So at what point is that okay for someone to do to someone else, do you think?
I guess it's okay, until it invades their personal rights. That's probably the boring default answer, though. You know what I mean?
It's a good answer.
Or B, if it invades your belief. Because, I don't know, I think that's, the belief thing, where, he believes he's an alien. But in real life, people believe in specific religions. Also, people believe different political things.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, those things are attacked. Or even, morals. You know, this is actually good or this is bad. So arguably we're getting bombarded all the time, even if you watch a movie that's challenged you to think something differently. You know?
Yeah.
Then I guess it comes down to back to who you are, or what you're willing to change. Because I'm trying to think, because the work metaphor, work is always going to change and evolve. Not just teaching, but like any business, you know?
Sure, yeah.
I think that's good and natural and part of it. But if nothing changes, who's going to make it change? I don't know. Have I said anything useful there?
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's not like there's not a right answer to this. But it does connect with what we were talking about earlier. So if I'm in my sphere, I have a specific set of talents. Is it okay for me to use those talents to change or shape or lift or strengthen or whatever? Or do we leave people's realities alone?
Okay, so there is an episode of Bluey where Bingo and Bluey, they're pretending to be grannies.
Sure.
And then Bingo starts doing the floss dance. You know the floss dance?
Yes.
And Bluey's like, Bingo, grannies don't floss. I can't do Australian. And she's like, grannies don't floss. You know, it ruins the game. They even call their grandma on FaceTime. And it's like, Granny, can you floss? No. And then Bluey's like, see, grannies don't floss. And then Bingo doesn't want to play anymore.
Yeah.
So she goes to the mom. And it's like, I proved it. Grannies don't floss. The mom says, well, did you want to be right or do you want to keep playing? Or, in other words, to tie it back to the conversation, it's like if someone's trying to break down someone's belief, what was the purpose of it?
Yeah.
Is it to prove I'm right, you're wrong? Or is it to or better to exist together? Or to still be friends or still be able to have whatever you have.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Jeff Bridges, at first he wants to be right.
Right.
Like Bluey. It's like, I need to prove that he's wrong.
Yeah.
But in reality, he's helping people. He's literally, arguably not doing anything wrong.
Right.
He just says he's from an alien planet.
Yeah.
So it's like, what was Jeff Bridges' goal there?
Right.
To prove he was right?
Yeah.
Or just to prove he's the best?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. What was his goal there?
I think it was.
I got to bring Bluey into
prove he's right. Yeah.
But that changed at the end.
Yeah, it did. It did. So, yeah. I think I agree with you as far as our interacting with other people's realities. We're just lifting. If it's not lifting, knock it off. Mm-hmm. If you're tearing something down, stop it. Just build each other. We need to build each other. Even
if there's a core, let's say it's something political, something you adamantly disagree with.
Sure.
Whatever the point is. And someone is the opposite of you. If you're going to have a conversation, what's the goal of that conversation? Yeah. You're probably not going to change your mind.
Right.
You're probably not going to change their mind.
Right.
So what's all right, do you want to be right? Or it's the,
So I think that's a really good point. So being right has to take a back seat to preserving the relationship or strengthening the relationship.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. Good job, Bluey and Ryan.
Point for Bluey.
Point for Bluey. All right, let's do one more.
All right.
This is the most philosophically extreme. So at one point, at several points, but there's one point in specific that Prout says, something like this is cyclical. The events that we're going through are going to happen again and again. And so make it the best one that you can make it this time. So what do we think about that? Is the universe cyclical? Not maybe in the sense of we are going to live this exact life over again, but maybe in terms of the cliche, those that don't learn their history are doomed to repeat it. Or if we don't learn how to better be us, we're going to circle around to another opportunity to become better in that specific way. So, what do you think? Is it cyclical or is it linear?
And by cyclical, you mean...
Cycle. It makes a cycle. Oh. Like an eternal round or a spring or something. So we'll just, some character flaw. whatever it is. We have an opportunity to change it, become better, whatever. We don't take it. Are we going to just cycle back around and have another opportunity to deal with that flaw? Or does life just keep going on and we don't have another opportunity? It doesn't come back. Okay. So are we stuck in a loop until we fix this thing and then we can move up?
No.
Okay.
Here's how I see it. And I don't know how much of this is personal. Like I don't know if everyone sees it this way or if it's just me, but this is how I see it. Because I think we are tempted, like say, like the personal flaw thing, or because we've talked a lot about how we know we're not perfect, and sometimes we let that get us down.
Yeah.
But I think it's some people struggle with, I made a mistake, or I did something wrong, or I'm not good here, blah blah, and because of that reason, boom, I'm on the ladder of life, back to the bottom.
Yeah.
But that's not the truth. You maybe get bumped a little bit. You never get back down to the bottom.
Yeah.
I think our choices are cyclical. Like you have every day. You just said that. Every day is a good day for you. You know,
yeah.
like every day we have to do it or try again, basically.
Yeah.
And what I think the problem, which makes us not think that way, is how monotonous the day is. Like we get into a routine.
Yeah.
I think talk about teachers, but I think it's easier for teachers because everything we do has an end goal.
Yeah.
Like people in other professions, there's not like an end goal. You just keep going.
Yeah.
But here here's this unit, or here's this trimester, or here's the school year.
Yeah.
And then but like, so there's a lot of change there. But when even still, like you get stuck doing the same thing every day, it's hard to see it that way, where it's like, let me try that again.
Yeah. So then if we get stuck in the same thing every day, that's cyclical. That is, we're back and we're back and we're back. So my thought about this is, if we are in that, if we find ourselves doing the same thing every day or struggling with the same, shortcoming or whatever, we have to do something to break that out of that. And that's a lot of what Prote's doing. Is I see that you've just been in this cycle in your life, or how you're thinking about yourself. It's just the same thing over and over and over. And a lot of what he does is just kind of like knocks that a little bit. He's got this little hammer and he just pops it just a little bit. Like, he doesn't do anything earth-shattering in this movie at all. It's just, what if you think about this, or sit here until the bluebird of happiness shows up or whatever. And so I think if we find ourselves in that rut, in the same thing over and over, we need to take Prote's little hammer and just pop something. Yeah. So that we get out of that. Because life is not, in my opinion, not intended for us to just circle and circle and circle the same thing over and over and over. We have so much that we can do in our sphere. We have so many opportunities to lift other people, to better ourselves, to become, like, if you're having the same day over and over and over, you gotta pop that. You gotta hit that with the little hammer. What needs to change?
Yeah. You reminded me of a quote from Jim Carrey.
I love Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey says, "I believe depression is legitimate, but I also believe that if you don't exercise, eat nutritious food, get sunlight, get enough sleep, consume positive material, surround yourself with support, then you aren't giving yourself a fighting chance."
Yeah.
And that's a great list of things to change to get out of that rut.
Yeah.
Like maybe get sunlight, go outside more,
sure,
or exercise, or eat healthier, or positive material, maybe stop scrolling social media, or even like maybe we should just say stop watching porn,
Yeah.
I mean, I obviously
absolutely,
but maybe that needs to be said more often,
Yeah.
Maybe you need a different source of positive.
Yeah.
Like, I think we undermine maybe sarcasm sometimes. I read an article once how we watch these sitcoms where these zings come, and it's for funny because the character just rolls his eyes and they move on.
Right.
But in real life, isn't like that.
No.
The zings do hurt, and I think could be harsher than the sitcoms are.
Yeah. We gotta knock that off.
Yeah,
we do. So if you're in that cycle, in that rut, I don't know, wear slippers to work someday. Or Just shake something
Yeah,
up.
Dead Poet Society, this thing.
Yeah. Because, again, one of the big messages of this movie is that it doesn't take a massive sea change to change a life. Mm-hmm. It's just in some cases, it's just a very small rudder change, and the destination completely changes. Mm-hmm. So if you're in that rut, if you're cyclical in your life, do something different.
Yeah.
Better, different. Wearing slippers, I don't know, but that's just the first thing that came to mind. But
yeah. Or this is not a specific student I have in mind, but maybe don't play video games till 4 a.m.
Yeah. So Jim Carrey's quote, I think, is fantastic. Yeah. If we're not in the cycle and we're not doing those things, that's an easy place to start. Yeah. So anyhow, this is I've been waiting to do this episode for a very long time, so I'm glad we got it. So last thing we need to debate is he an alien?
Yeah, I want to hear your side.
You say he is.
Because in my mind, here's the two things that really clued him. Besides the dog thing,
yeah,
it's when he just disappears one day and comes back.
Did he disappear?
Yeah, he was gone for like 2 days or something.
Okay, but he was gone. He didn't necessarily disappear.
And
he was just gone.
Skirts around the camera thing at that point, but that's as per usual, I think.
Yeah,
that's a lot of movies. Actually, I one time saw that it feels like directors are making more movies set before technology.
Yeah,
because maybe it's more interesting if there's no smartphones or social media or just cameras
or
everywhere.
The eye in the sky everywhere.
Because now it's wait a second, would there be? Yeah, there probably would.
Yeah.
Be. Anyway, and then the ending. So is he knew to the second when he would go brain dead?
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't bring up the astrophysics.
Oh yeah,
that is the biggest argument.
You're right. I just forgot about that.
That one's the biggest argument for he's an alien. But I don't know. So kind of the same thing with the ending of Inception. Is he out? Is he not? I guess I just choose to believe that he was a guy that just needed to lift people. He needed someone to lift him. Nobody could do it, and so he just finally had to go. There aren't enough prots in the world, so the end of this for me suggests that we desperately need more prots. He didn't find a probe for himself.
This is what they should have done. The camera goes fuzzy, and where is he in his room? Instead of being comatose, they should have had the window open.
Yeah.
That, and at least to me, that would have made it be maybe he was just a guy.
Not have Jeff Bridges pushing him around in a wheelchair.
He could have had a monologue about being with his kids, actually, or his family.
That's fair.
But if it wasn't for that, I think he didn't beam up to space, he just jumped out the window,
Or he did beam up. Yeah. The only part that I could never get around is that when he's meeting with the astrophysicists and everyone's like, what? How do you know that? And it fits with everything. And they're...
Yeah, that's a good example of a scene ending before people could ask questions.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Wait a sec. Yeah. But as a movie, the scene was over. The scene's job was over, so no one asked any questions about anything else.
Anyhow. Yeah, this is one of my very favorite movies.
And I think it deserves to be kind of dug up. It's kind of buried in time.
Yeah.
Buried under... just Kevin Spacey, I guess, but I think it's good.
Me too. So,
all right, it's the moment Dietz has been waiting for, because we're doing it, Dietz.
So this is where he says, "Just kidding. You don't have to watch 9 hours of slog crap."
Well, technically,
for a book that's only 250 pages long.
Yeah, we're doing The Hobbit. Okay, Dietz has not seen The Hobbit at all.
I didn't even like it to begin with as a book.
I know.
Why would I watch the movies?
That's why we have to do it.
Okay, so this, I guess...
this is the
that
end.
That means I have to watch 3 hours of movie in a week.
Yeah.
Of movie that I don't... Oh, wait, I can just... Never mind. Okay.
We can do times 2 speed.
I think we can do this.
And fundamentally alter your relationship with the film.
No. Because if you're walking across a field for half an hour, you get the same amount of, walking across the field. You get it. You get it like 15 seconds in. Okay, they're walking across. No, we got to keep walking across we're like walking.
Fine. Do times 2
we're
speed.
Walking this field.
Do times 2 speed on only the scenes with no talking. How about that?
Man.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
In no hint of irony, I think the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the best trilogy ever made. Like,
wow.
Each one is a
I've already seen those.
I know, but you haven't seen them since.
And they're boring as heck.
I was in elementary school when you saw them. Like,
I was not. What is the point?
You are a different human being now, and your mind is
expanded.
You
think I got more patient?
No, I think
boring, long, frickin' movies.
You are going to be more willing to be open-minded about the Lord of the Rings movies. Hobbit.
As I definitely was about the Marvel movies for sure.
Okay.
So this experience coming up for you, listener, is by definition purpose of this podcast.
Yeah. All right. Let's say it right here, right now.
Like I admit, I have absolutely no desire to watch any of these movies.
Okay. The Hobbit, Unexpected Journey next week.
Tolkien may be my least favorite famous author.
What you're saying? You're saying something wrong about the thing you're saying.
I just said I think Tolkien might be my least favorite super famous author.
I know that's a hot take. You don't like Tolkien.
I like The Hobbit.
Well, it's a good thing we're going to spend the next 9 hours with The Hobbit.
That's got to be the stupidest choice anyone ever made as a filmmaker. Who directed those?
Peter Jackson. That's a whole thing we'll get into.
Really?
Next week. Well, he wasn't going to. It's a whole thing we'll get into.
Okay.
It's a thing.
Anyhow,
I am excited for Dietz to enjoy this journey.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I know.
You might need to rephrase that sentence for Dietz to experience this journey. I don't know. So what's going to happen in the next 6 weeks, I believe, is against the Constitution.
7 weeks, because we're going to do you want your choice in the middle?
Sure.
So,
yeah, cruel and unusual punishment. That is the name of the game, apparently.
Thanks for listening to this K-PAX episode.
Yes, thank you.
This was a good one, I think.
I love K-PAX.
Yeah.
I'm glad they never made a sequel and they didn't do anything else with it. I'm sad that no one really knows about this movie.
It's kind of lost.
Because it's such an amazing philosophical, like, not the movie itself, but what it asks us to think about.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Yeah.
Anyhow, hopefully you enjoyed the movie and our podcast about the movie. And we'll see you next week for
The Hobbit.
Part
Unexpected
1.
Journey.
That's what it's called. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. All right. We love you.
We do love you. Thanks for listening.
Bye.